So I was watching Guyver for the first time, and I can't believe I've missed this all my life. It's so right up my alley. I was getting a Star Kid and Power Rangers vibe. Though it was intended to be much darker, it was still pretty goofy. There's not really too much to say about this movie. It's so formulaic. I just wanted to show my appreciation for movies and ideas that took chances. Some of these films flopped completely, some of them became cornerstones of film today. The reboots and sequels we enjoy today would never be created today originally because they took chances. They are only considered safe because they are successful. So The Guyver is basically about an evil alien company, of course, pretending to be human, experimenting on human subjects, and apparently one of the main scientists, this guy, wants them to stop because it's wrong, which they are. He steals one of the units he's working on to prevent further study on humans. Henchmen Zoonoids from this company catch up to him to retrieve this unit experiment, which is the Guyver. The scientists then turn into this grotesque zoonoid monster to fight back. That is until the main henchman meets him in the middle and turns into a bigger monster and crushes his head like a grape. The henchmen return to the boss, the Zoa Lord of this company, but he's angry because they've been duped with a toaster, which prompts the boss to use these telepathic powers that causes his henchman to beat himself up. Later on, while these same henchmen are back out looking for the misplaced Guyver, Sean, our main character, is leaving the dojo and going home, presumably, until he's jumped by these corny very not gangster thugs. One of them is his sparring partner, and it couldn't be any less convincing. They taunt him and antagonize him until he randomly falls over and face plants on the Guyver, which then transforms him into the Guyver, which reminds me so much of Star Kid, but with an Ultraman-esque design. He then proceeds to whoop their goofy asses until they are knocked out or ran away. Sean meets up with the daughter of the scientist that got crushed in the beginning to figure out what happened, since he's aware of his death and she works at the dojo he trains at coincidentally. The mutant henchmen pull up to try to capture her, while Sean is there, so they have to try to escape, leading them to this abandoned low-budget warehouse because of course, where else are they going to have an epic fight scene with no interruptions? After a few people get thrown around harmlessly and the damsel is in distress, it's time to activate the Guyver, and this is probably where it felt the most like Power Rangers. Guyver easily beats the weaker Zoonoids until the big boss steps in and finds a weakness fairly quickly and starts to turn the tide, so much so that he seemingly kills the Guyver. Even I was like, damn, how does he even come back from that? Well, if it wasn't any surprise, he does. And he definitely does. The ball in the middle of the Guyver's head is his brain / heart, the weakness you could say. When the boss Zoonoid pulled that out, it temporarily disabled the Guyver, needing time to be cloned or recreated from scratch. So I guess he can't die. He's immortal, I guess. At the Zoonoid base headquarters, the Guyver is attempted to be weaponized. That is until Mizki, the love interest who got kidnapped twice, gets the Guyver slapped out of her hand during an escape attempt. The Guyver metal lands inside of a Zoonoid, which leads to this great Jaws homage scene and the Guyver's rebirth. And then comes the end battle. More Power Rangers fight scenes with a decent amount of blood, gore, and slapstick comedy, which is the only element that throws me for a loop. It's like they knew people couldn't take this seriously, so they decided to play around with it. The end is probably one of the weakest parts of this film, but Mark Hamill's transformation is probably one of the strongest. Very much reminded me of John Carpenter. Probably was a big motivation for Mark Hamill's participation. Even after seeing his face like 10 times, he still seemed unrecognizable. After doing some Googling for this film, I finally realized Mark Hamill was in it, and then I'm like, oh, that is him. What's he doing in this? Also, JJ from Good Times is in this, acting crazy as usual. I don't think I've ever seen him in a movie either. I think I did when he was much older, but that doesn't really count. The ending was terrible, point blank period, even for 90 standards. And the ending was just downright horrible. Nothing really good there besides character designs. The Zora lore was disappointing. I think a bigger budget would have made this movie 10 times better. There was good elements for sure, but giving this movie a 6 was being generous. I could not pay attention no matter how amazing the concept was. The movie had no charisma and it was tone deaf. It couldn't tell if it wanted to be a dark comedy or give off that serious legendary vibe that Spawn gives. And it was no commitment to either. If you're into this kind of stuff, I recommend it. It's not terrible, but you will miss some stuff because there's no way this movie is retaining your attention, which is very important. I would imagine a lot of people would be bored in theaters watching this. Either way, that's what I have to say about Guyver. Comment if you have any other movie recommendations. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Also, why does the black guy turn into the creature with the most distinctive features? I'm just saying, it's so distracting compared to everybody else.